Hey, what's going on? It's your boy MLC, and I just want to come on here just to talk a little bit about people being stupid and not being able to comprehend what you're talking about in certain situations. And in this situation, I'm talking about the Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. situation. So both of them recently came out bashing each other, basically calling each other bums, overrated hype jobs, all that. And I said, I personally don't like that, and I feel it's stupid because if you're gonna sit up there and admit that your opponent hasn't really done anything and is a bum, then that means you're admitting you're fighting a bum. Like it's just dumb when fighters do that. Now, people need to understand. I'm not saying once a fighter calls his opponent a bum, it's just law, and that's what it means that this opponent is a bum and haven't fought nobody. No, it's simply you can get caught lying in different ways. And one way, like Canelo, he got caught lying that Terrence Crawford was a bum because after he said all of that stuff in the face-off with Shaquille O'Neal asked Canelo, okay, if he's really not that good, basically, and he haven't fought nobody, and he coming from three weight classes down, why are you fighting him and not David Benavidez, the Mexican monster? Then that's when Canelo came out to tell the truth, saying, "Oh, Terrence Crawford is a great fighter." Who's actually a four division champion, two-time undisputed, and beat this guy and that guy. Whereas to Devin Haney situation, he called Brian Norman Jr. the bum, say he haven't fought nobody. He didn't know him till 2 years ago, this and that. And my point is, that's also actually true though. So Haney and Canelo were lying for different reasons. Canelo was lying about Terrence Crawford being a bum, and Haney was lying about trying to hype up Brian Norman Jr. at first and saying he's a good fighter, the best in the division, just to turn around and tell the truth. Because if you also listen, he said, I really didn't want to say this. Yeah, you really didn't want to say that because you knew you were exposing yourself. That's why you really didn't want to say it. And at first you was calling them the best in the division and this and that. And then also I'm talking about Brian Norman Jr. as well. Like if you're gonna say Devin Haney hasn't really done anything and lost to a smaller, older guy in Vasily Lomachenko, and then Jorge Linares and all these guys were smaller and older and weren't and were washed up, then how much credit can I give you? Because you're at that point, you're just saying you're fighting a smaller average guy who really never beat anybody. So how much credit can I really give you for that? But yeah, there's different ways of capping. Because like I said, what Devin Haney said, not even himself, he will be able to dispute that. Canelo disputed it, actually explained why Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. So that therefore he got caught in a lie. Devin Haney can't dispute that Brian Norman Jr. is actually a great fighter. All he probably might say it after the fight, oh Brian Norman, I was just saying that for trash talk. But he can't dispute none of those questions he was asking. Who has he fought? Who has he beaten? I didn't know you until a year ago. All the guys you fight are bums. That's why you knocked them out. Top rank makes it easy for their fighters to become champions, and we all know that. You know that. Woo woo woo. He went on to explain. So he wasn't even talking about Brian Norman Jr. at that point. He was talking about the whole top rank, how he feels they personally make it easy for all of their fighters to become champion. So, like I said, there's no way you can really dispute what Devin Haney said, not even himself. And I would like to see him try. How are you going to turn around now and try to call, Brian Norman Jr. elite or a great fighter? There's no way. So that was pretty much my point. And I'm pretty much done on that.